Hello and welcome back to the channel, everyone. This is Motor Mike Media, and as always, I'm Motor Mike, and today, well, we're going to talk about the Ford Ranger and the Chevy Colorado. It's a tale as old as time. Ford guys versus Chevy guys. Who's got the better truck? Well, I'm here to tell you guys that they're both good trucks. They both can do things very similarly, and they both do things very differently. It all depends on your wants, your needs, your budget, and which one do you prefer. And I've actually made videos on both these. Feel free to check them out. I made those when I first started the channel. It's always good to have apples and apples and compare them together. You can see the numbers, see the pictures, and figure out which one's right for you. So let's get started. We'll start with styling the front ends. The Ranger, it's a little bit more rounded. Still decent looking headlights, a nice big grille. Depending on the packages you get, you can change the grille colors as well as the bottom bumper to make it look a little bit more aggressive. It's a little bit too round in my opinion, but it still looks pretty decent. Going to the Chevy, it's more squared off, more boxy, nice big headlights, and there's a new bumper for 2021, a little different front end. It's still growing on me. I actually prefer the older front end a little bit better, but still, both these trucks have pretty good looking front ends. Now side profile, we'll start with the Ranger. Ranger, pretty good body lines. You can get an extended cab, which I actually prefer, or you can get in the crew cab. That way you have more room for your passengers, and it's always that battle. Would you rather have more bed space or more interior space? Same thing with the Chevy Colorado going there. Pretty nice body lines here as well. And you get the extended cab or you can get the crew cab. Same thing with the Ranger. I prefer the extended cab better. That's just me though. But these trucks, from the sides, they both look pretty good. The rear ends, we'll start with the Ford. I kind of didn't like these taillights when they first came out. They've been growing on me the more I see them on the road. They are pretty large, but they're in charge. Now the tailgate. I really like how they have the Ranger just stamped out in the tailgate and the big Ford badge in the back. I really wish it didn't protrude as much as it did, but it's still a good looking back end. Now going over to the Colorado. Nice taillights in the back, and they decided to add Chevrolet stamped into the tailgate. It's a really nice look. I like it when any vehicle will have the stamped metal look, whether it's being for the Ford brand itself, the Chevy brand itself, or just the vehicle name. It's a good look. Overall, both these trucks look very good. It just depends on what style you prefer, something a little bit more boxy or something a little bit more smooth. Now let's go through the interiors. We'll start with the Ford Ranger. When you get in the Ranger, yes, there's some hard touch plastics here and there. Older Ford switchgear, well, because this is an older vehicle in general. Yes, it's only been here in America for a short time, but this vehicle has been around since basically 2012 in other parts of the world. So the steering wheel's from a Ford Taurus, but still a nice steering wheel. As you go up the trims, you get leather wrapped. Gauge cluster in front of you. Analog gauges with a helper screen. As you move up the trims, you can go to a semi-configurable sort of digital display. It's from the older Fusions. It's not my favorite. I prefer the analog gauges myself. You have the older sync system. Still works quite well. It's a decent sized screen, has all the features you want and need, and a plethora of hard touch buttons. Like I said, they're older Ford switchgear, but everything can easily be used with gloves on. Everything's easy to find and use. Overall, it's a pretty decent interior, and the seats are very comfortable. I find them to be one of the better ones in its class. Going over to the Chevy. Same thing here. Hard touch plastics. This is still an older vehicle as well, not quite as old as the Ford Ranger, but everything's laid out very nicely. As you go up the trim lines, you get the nice leather wrapped steering wheel as well. Good buttons on there. A nice gauge cluster, nice and simple. Analog gauges with a helper screen in the middle. And you have one of the later systems from GM. Nice and easy to use, good resolution, and good hard touch buttons, just like the Ranger. Easy to use with gloves on. Everything's in nice range of where you need to find everything. And the seats, a little bit less comfortable than the Ranger, but I'll tell you guys this. In my personal opinion, the Ford Ranger in general rides a little bit more rough, a little bit more truck-like, if you will, compared to the Colorado. Colorado has a little bit better ride on road. So it's that pick or choose. Would you rather have a little bit more comfortable seat, but overall your ride's a little bit more rough, or seats that are a little bit less comfortable but a better ride? Overall, these are both good vehicles. Yes, they're both older, but like I said, it depends on your styles. What do you prefer? Now let's talk some numbers, guys. We'll start with the Ford Ranger. The Ford Ranger comes standard with a 2.3 liter 4-cylinder turbo. It's an EcoBoost engine. It makes about 270 horsepower and 310 pound-feet of torque. It's paired to a 10-speed automatic transmission. It's the one and only transmission for this vehicle, and it's a great pairing of the two. The most fuel-efficient truck in its class, and in the right configuration, it can tow 7,500 pounds. Good numbers from a little four-cylinder. Now, a base Ranger is going to cost you about $24,410. That'd be an extended cab, two-wheel drive. Moving to the trim lines, the most luxurious trim, the Lariat, in a extended cab, two-wheel drive configuration will cost you about $32,500. Obviously, when you add four-wheel drive, extended cab, or a crew cab I should say, the price will go up from there, but it's relatively reasonable. Now, if you want the most off-road ready package on the Ranger, that'd be the Tremor package. Now, the Tremor package is going to give you 9.7 inches of ground clearance and a whole bunch of off-road goodies. Basically, the Tremor is one step above the FX4 package, so you get everything from the FX4 and some. Special 32-inch tall tires, nice aggressive. You get a little bit of a lift overall from the suspension. The rear suspension is specially tuned. You get auxiliary switches, a lot of little off-road goodies. You have the crawl modes that you get from the FX4. If you don't know what that is, that's basically a off-road cruise control where you can basically just set it and forget it, and you do low-speed maneuvering using the ABS brakes to articulate you over obstacles going uphill or downhill. It's a cool feature to have. Overall, the Tremor package is nice. It gives you a lot of off-road goodies, and it's a very capable truck. Now, let's talk about the Colorado. The Chevy Colorado comes standard with a 2.5-liter four-cylinder engine. It's paired to a 6-speed automatic. In this application, it makes about 200 horsepower and 191 pound-feet of torque. And most people decide to skip that trim. They'll actually either upgrade or move up a trim line or two and get yourself the 3.6-liter V6. That's a great engine from GM. It's found on a lot of their products. And in this application, it's paired to an 8-speed automatic. It makes 308 horsepower and 275 pound-feet of torque. Not bad. Now, that engine can tow about 7,000 pounds. So you are towing a little bit less than what the EcoBoost engine can do. But if you want, you can upgrade. Get the 2.8-liter Duramax diesel. That's right, guys. The diesel's still here. And that engine, it makes about 181 horsepower and 369 pound-feet of torque. Great numbers from a little four-cylinder that's paired to a 6-speed automatic, and that can tow 7,700 pounds. So if you're in the diesels, you want a little bit better fuel economy, and you want to tow more, that's the engine for you. It's good to have these options. Now, a base Colorado starts a little over $25,000, and when you go all the way up to the ZR2, that's a little over $44,000. So there is a bit of a price difference there. Now that ZR2 has all the good off-road goodies. You can get the V6 or the diesel in it. It's a great four-wheel drive system. It has aggressive styling. I'm not the biggest fan of the refresh front end, I'll be honest with you guys. I prefer the older front end better, but still, it's aggressive looking. You have all those off-road goodies, like I said, the suspension on this thing. Not only is the suspension great off-road, absorbing all the imperfections in the road, but on-road it's still great. You're not sacrificing anything to get this off-road trim. And if you want, for a little over $5,500, you can get the Bison package on top of that. Give you even more off-road goodies, as well as its own little styling cues. So I want to know what you guys think. Between these two trucks, which one's right for you? Do you like the Ford Ranger because it's EcoBoost engine and styling? Or do you like the Colorado because it's a little bit more boxy and it has more options in its power lineup? We know in the off-road trims, technically the ZR2 is slightly better off-road. It has a little bit more off-road goodies, but the Tremor's still good. And hopefully we'll get a Ranger soon. Now, let me know in the comments below, which one would you pick, or would you pick one that's competition? You have the Honda Ridgeline, which is a nice, comfortable vehicle that's very capable. Or do you like the Toyota Tacoma, with its aggressive styling, as well as very good off-road packages? Or do you like the Jeep Gladiator, just to be different, something that can remove its doors, remove its roof, and is also very off-road capable? Let me know in the comments below. And if you haven't already and you want to, check out my channel. I keep trying to give you guys more and more content. We talk about cars, trucks, SUVs, and crossovers, combustion engines, and EVs. A little bit of everything. And please, like, comment, subscribe. Hit that notification bell. That way you can stay up to date with the latest and greatest from my channel. And as always, I truly appreciate you guys for watching. And I'll see you all in the next one.